Off to the land of enchantment we go, the Duke City, to bring in the head coach of the defending regular season champions in the Mountain West, the New Mexico Lobos. Coach Bridget Howard, Jesse Kurtz here. Good to see you. You're defending a conference championship this year. How are things maybe different this year than they were last year, other than the obvious where now you can actually play in your own building?
Yeah, I think that's the biggest difference is we're actually in New Mexico, and we were able to practice, and still be at home. That's the biggest difference. Other than that, we've got really a new team. There's not much that's the same from last year, other than 4 or 5 seniors. Everything else is different, but I like our team, and most importantly, we're still here in New Mexico.
If you have a question for Coach Bradbury, go ahead and raise your virtual hand. We'll get you in queue, get you set up so you can participate. The mentality of this year's team, it's always said by many coaches, winning a championship is hard. Defending a championship is harder. What do you see out of your team that they have the mentality that they're capable of replicating what they did last year and maybe taking it a step further?
Yeah, I mean, I like our team. That's really all I can say. I don't know that we think about those things. I know this, that we haven't talked about defending anything. In our eyes, it was we wanted to win the conference tournament. During the regular season, we really didn't even know when we were playing and where. So it's not been discussed. I like our team. I think our effort and practice has been good. We're looking forward to, seeing what happens and playing a full non-conference schedule.
Again, reminder, if you want to get in queue and participate, asking questions of Coach Bradbury, you can go ahead and do that. Our first question for you, Coach, comes from KRQE-TV in Albuquerque's Van Tate.
Coach, as far as going back to last year, what did you learn on the road last year that will help you guys this year, maybe push through a game or whatever like that? Because that was tough to be on the road the whole year, and you starting a new season, like you just said, at home. So it must be some lessons learned from that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Van. I think mainly handle distractions. Don't get too worried about things that you can't control. We would have practice scheduled sometimes, especially before Christmas, and things would just get canceled. We wouldn't have a gym. We were asking people if we could use their facilities. And, so I think just not getting worked up when things weren't normal. Once we got inside the league, the practice stuff was great. Everybody in our league is, treated us great, when we were kind of in their way, I guess, on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
And just to follow up on that, does this year feel almost like a Christmas gift because you don't have that kind of stress? I mean, you get to just worry about basketball.
Yeah, I think that part will be good. I think, with being able to be here a lot, we'll keep them rested and hopefully more focused. But I guess last year the one thing that we got out of that was it was easy to not be distracted, I guess, because you weren't around things that were could be distracting.
Okay.
Thank you for your questions, Van Tate. Coach, I got to ask you about super seniors Jaden De La Cerda and Antonia Anderson. Both are close to 1,000 career points at New Mexico. What are you expecting to see from them this season?
Hopefully, a lot what we saw last year. They've worked really hard. They're obviously talented, but they're good teammates, good leaders. Hopefully we can, get the same out of them this year that they produced last year. I will say this, I don't think they have to do more. I just think they have to stay consistent and do what they were doing last year.
We've got another question for you coming from KOAT-TV in Albuquerque. We'll now go to Ron Burke.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Coach, I think last year we can say the greatest challenge was obvious with COVID being so prevalent, and as you've discussed, the whole challenge with traveling and everything. What do you see as the great challenge this year? Does it return to the expected, just lining up against an opponent and going right at them? Is that pretty much the great challenge this year from week to week?
Yeah, I think it's a challenge. I think our league is really good, and I think it's good. Probably 8 or 9 deep. I think that's a big challenge. Also, I think for us, just in our program, we're going to have to be able to develop some depth. We lost a lot of that last year. Returned most of the starters, or all of the starters basically, but lost everybody that came off the bench. So I think that's our biggest challenge is trying to find who's going to be able to give us minutes off the bench and productive minutes.
Okay, thank you, Ron. Let's go to Van Tate. He has a follow-up from KRQ TV in Albuquerque.
Coach, your non-conference schedule, you got a few heavy hitters on there. Could you just talk about how much that's going to help when it gets time to go into conference? How much that non-conference schedule will help your team be focused and poised and ready to get the job done?
Yeah, that non-conference schedules each year I think are critical. This year it'll be critical for us. It'll either make us better and make us confident, or it could hurt us bad. We've got a lot of good teams on there, and it's most of which are on the road. So hopefully it's not too big of a negative thing, and we can grow from those games. But it's always tricky when you play a really difficult non-conference schedule because you can leave yourself out there a little bit.
And just to follow up on that, playing a tough non-conference schedule I'm sure you put into consideration getting to the tournament as opposed to last year, how you kind of, like you guys kind of got a little snub there at the end, even though you won all those road games. I don't know if the committee really looked at that because they left you guys home when it came to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, we did strengthen the schedule for a little bit of those purposes, and we try to schedule games in the non-conference based on our team. And if we feel like we have a pretty good team, then we'll schedule a little more aggressively. And if we're a little bit down, we try to schedule down, to build some confidence. So, we think we've got a good group. If we can get the depth, and we'll go out there and tackle these big guys the best we can.
Thank you, Van. Yeah, some non-conference games, Coach. Arizona, Stephen F. Austin, Texas Tech, Houston. You certainly have loaded up on some games that will test you. You had a couple of transfers last year that made an impact for you in Latasia and Latora Duff. What do you envision them making their biggest impact this year?
Yeah, I think Latora has a chance to have a great year. Tay's out right now with injury, so I don't know how much she'll be able to play this year, if any. So, but I think Tora will be, have a big year and a big chance to impact our team, just like she did last year.
We talked about your non-conference schedule and some of those games, some big games, some tests on the road. What about the opportunity to play once again on a regular basis in the pit? When that place is rocking, there's no better environment for women's basketball in the conference, in the country. When that place is going, that's an incredible home court advantage for you.
Yeah, it is. I think our kids enjoy it. Again, I don't know about advantage or not advantage. I think the other teams like playing here too, in front of those crowds. But I know our kids really enjoy it, and our fans are true to us and faithful. And, when we have the big crowds, it does make a difference.
Coach, you mentioned the depth, and you'll have to find new depth on this team this year with new players. You brought on 6 freshmen. Who out of those freshmen have impressed you so far as you head into this season?
I think no one's really separated themselves yet. I do think that we have a chance to find 3 or 4 of those that can really help us. We're kind of working through that right now, and giving everybody an opportunity. with certain combinations to see what they can bring. We'll hopefully get that figured out before we get to January and have a rotation of some kind.
We've got a follow-up question now from Van Tate from KRQE TV in Albuquerque.
Yeah, Coach, could you just talk about how vocal Jaden and Antonia will be this year, because they're the two seniors that kind of led everything last year, and how is that working out?
It's been great. Those two have been around here a long time, and they have a certain presence and a certain voice in the locker room, and they say the right things, they do the right things. So that's the most important thing. I think their voice will be heard from our younger players, and I know they're already being asked a lot of questions. So I can't say enough good things about those two. I just try to answer your question as directly as possible, but I could go on and on about what those two have meant to our program.
Thanks, Coach.
Coach, you get Qual Magruder back this season. She was named to the All Mountain West defensive team last season. What are you looking forward to seeing out of her this season?
Shy is a real talent, and I think if she can be a little more consistent, it would help her numbers overall. But we want Shy to be Shy, and that's to be athletic and run, and hopefully we can increase her scoring a little bit. But Shy's a big talent that we're trying to get the most out of.
Well, Coach, I think it goes without saying, but your road and what your team achieved a year ago, one of the most outstanding achievements that I've ever seen in college sports, with the challenges that you were up against, the achievements that you were able to achieve. Congratulations, put a bow on that. I know you're looking forward to this season, but we appreciate you shedding some light on this season. And once again, congratulations on what you were able to do last year, and look forward to see how that translates to success in your sixth season down at the University of New Mexico.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. That means a lot. I don't know that it was recognized enough. So really proud of our players and our kids for fighting through that. And I appreciate you saying that. Absolutely. We're proud of you. No doubt about that, and look forward to talking to some of your leaders here momentarily. That's Coach Mike Bradbury, the New Mexico Lobos, the defending regular season champions. And he's probably right. It probably was not recognized as much as it should have been, because of the level of achievement for those ladies and coach to be displaced, not be able to play at home, not knowing where they're going to practice, not knowing the next place that they're going to travel to. You're playing, in Texas, home games in Texas. You're practicing in gyms that are not familiar. And for them to go 15-5, 11-3 in the Mountain West, win a regular season title, certainly something to be proud of. Absolutely. And, it's not easy by any means to go into even a conference tournament where everyone plays it as a road game and is trying to win games, but to go on and to win the Mountain West regular season title when you're playing games at home, that's not really at the pit anymore. And so that's a success in and of itself. And so, yes, New Mexico has so much to be excited about and to be proud of from their season last year. And you mentioned depth being a question mark. You never know which players are going to rise and where you can be inserted into the lineup, but to have four starters who were a part of that just tough season where they grinded and had the success, that's a good place to start in trying to duplicate what you did a year ago. Let's head back down to the Duke City and bring in a couple of those Lobos, Jaden De La Cerda and Antonia Anderson. Ladies, I appreciate the time. Let's start with where this team's mindset is off of a mentally straining season a year ago. You're back at home, the familiar places where you practice, and now you're chasing back-to-back regular season championships. Let's start with you, Jaden. What have you seen from your fellow teammates and coaches that you guys are primed and ready to make a run at another one?
Just working hard every day is the main goal right now. And if you do that, we'll start winning games, stay connected, and just have that team chemistry that we need. And that'll help us in the long run, and then we'll go from there. Same question for you, Antonia.
Just like she said, we always want to work hard. We take it day by day. So we're just looking at the first game that we have and then we'll go from there after that. We don't really look too far ahead because at this point, we just want to make sure that we win as much games as possible.
Well, if you have a question for Jaden or Antonia, please make sure to raise your hand button in the queue to get your question asked. Now, both of you are nearly close to achieving 1,000 career points at New Mexico. What would that mean for both of you to be able to cross that off your list?
You know, that'd be very accomplishing goal for us. Well, both of us, yeah. But I just feel like if we go out there and we just do what we got to do, it'll just come naturally. You know what I mean? We don't want to force anything. Like Mike said, he doesn't want us to do too much, you know, just stay more consistent and things like that. So that's going to be fun.
Yeah, like Jaden
Antonia,
said,
what about you?
Sorry, I didn't cut you off. I think that we literally just need to stay within our role. Like, we don't have to overdo it or force any points because they're naturally going to come. So we'll be fine as long as we play our game and continue to be who we are.
Mm-hmm.
Well, ladies, we've got a question for you in the queue from Ron Burke from KOAT TV in Albuquerque.
Thank you. Hello, ladies. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Great. Thank you. Thanks for your time. I'd like to know, since you made the decision to come back, you know, for your super senior season, what kind of thoughts have been on your mind now that you've gotten this opportunity, that, you know, you could not have predicted, say, a year ago, but now you've had the chance to prep for a new season and get ready for, you know, this challenge that's ahead. What thoughts have gone through your mind as you're now close to starting this extra season?
I'd say the main thought in my head is just to have fun and just to enjoy the moment. Like, this was definitely obviously going to be our last year for sure. So I just want to be in the moment and just enjoy it, be around my teammates a lot and have a lot of fun and win a lot of games.
Jaden?
I would say the same. You know, we weren't able to play in the pit last year, so that's going to be something that is like a blessing. You know, we have tons of fans that are ready to watch us and excited to watch us. So it's going to be fun. Just enjoy the moment, like AT said, and just have fun with it.
And if I may follow up with the preseason projections or predictions having you in second place, how do you feel about that?
It'll all show on the court. You know, we're not worried about any of that. If we go out there and play, work hard, compete every single day, then the results will show on the court.
Yeah, I mean, our coach pointed out, literally, they never get it right. So I'll leave it at that.
Mic drop.
I like that. Thank you, ladies. Appreciate you.
Jaden, you being from New Mexico, the Gatorade Player of the Year while you're in high school out of Roswell, what does it mean for you and this journey been like for you as a native leading New Mexico to a championship and a chance to do it again?
It means a lot. You know, not a lot of people get to experience this and get to play in the pit being from New Mexico. So it's like having younger kids look up to me and me achieving those goals being from New Mexico, it means a lot. And just having like my family here, just my dad coming to every single game, it's an awesome feeling, and I can't wait for him to be in the pit this year.
And Antonia, you have played 115 games in your Lobo career, the program record 134. You're very close. Having been around this program, having seen ups and downs, knowing what has worked and reaching the success that you have, how are you taking a leadership role with some of these younger players, 6 freshmen, in making sure that everyone is pulling in the same direction towards another championship?
My goal is just to be very vocal on the court and to lead by example. I think a lot of people want to follow you when you're doing the right thing, so that's what I need to do on and off the court.
Mm-hmm.
Jaden, I'd love to ask you, you co-host a podcast called Lobo Pod with fellow football player Langston Murray, and you also just started a series called Straight Out of Practice. What led you to getting those started, and how has that kept you busy this offseason?
You know, I like being in front of the camera. It's really fun, and I like talking to like other athletes and just getting to know them. You know, that's what it's about, just getting to know who they are outside of their sport. And it's been fun. It does keep me really busy, so yeah, it keeps me on my feet.
Who's been your favorite interview so far on your Straight Out of Practice series?
That's a good. Probably Kate Bayasu, our volleyball player. You know, she's killing it in the Mountain West right now, so shout out to her. But yeah, she's really cool, fun girl, really outgoing, and I loved it to do with that with her. I loved having her on my show, I should say. Sorry. Stuttering.
You guys are both back for your super senior season, but you're also pursuing your master's degrees. How has that been, managing that, staying in school, choosing to stay in school for another year?
I would say it's a lot, honestly. But I think it's worth it. Like, to be able to come to college and get 2 degrees on scholarship, like, that is a blessing that a lot of people don't get to experience. So I don't know, I'd say it's worth it. All the stress and I would say late nights and all the discussion posts.
Late nights.
It's worth it.
Oh God.
But we
Yeah, I
do
actually
have just Nope, continue, James. Sorry to interrupt.
No, I'm sorry. She said late nights. You know, I have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday class from 7 to 9:30, and it's like, yikes. But yeah, that's all I had to say.
We do have just a few more minutes with you. So if there is a question that you want to get in from media, certainly get into our queue. So what are you guys studying? What are your master's degrees in?
I'm doing organization and human resource development.
Mine is sports administration.
Okay, why not broadcasting? You like being in front of the camera? You can be right here. I'll retire.
I do. We actually don't have like that type of master's degree here, so it's kind of. But I do my things outside of that, so that'll go on my resume.
You're doing your work. You're doing your work, and we're proud of it. And you guys are doing your work on the court and reaching a high level of success. I appreciate you taking time for us here today. I know you guys are super busy in school and on the court, but it's been fun watching you guys chase a championship a year ago. It'll be fun watching you do that once again here in 21-22.
Thank you.